First of all, I don't dance on dues or for dues.
Let's go. Tell them.
I don't dance on dude. When they're like, oh, come over here. I'm like,
Tell them.
me? This is my time. I twerk for me.
Tell them. Okay. Boys.
Yikes.
And you. Boys love you. Yo, facts.
That is such a...
Can I open with that?
I can't, huh?
Can I open with that?
Sure.
Boys love you. So when I asked
straight?
Instagram, hey, what should I ask Tanya? The only messages I got back were from guys going, will she marry me?
Bet. Let's go.
Oh my gosh.
I'm ready, y'all.
But I love because just downstairs you're telling me how your mom gave you advice.
Ooh.
Can you share that real quick?
Yes. So my mom, she is the crazy Mexican in my life.
Okay.
And she said, date as many people as possible, have fun, experiment, just be safe, don't be reckless, but be safe, and have everyone.
Does that give your dad a heart attack?
No, so.
Because I want to talk about, I'll preface it because Tay and I next year are probably going to try to have another kid.
Yikes.
And
oh.
you can't go yikes and go.
No, we're just on like different life paths. That's
Right.
why anytime someone's like, I'm pregnant, I'm like, how should I react? Like,
I don't know if we're that different. I just feel like if one or two things happened differently, like we wouldn't have been where I'm at now.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, we're going to try again probably in a little bit. And
is this like that's a big deal. This is a huge announcement.
I mean, we practice a lot.
Bet.
But I'm fully prepared to have a young girl.
Let's go. They're so much fun.
Are they?
Yeah, I think I'm so much fun.
I think you're fun and I love you. But then I'm also like, would I be Tanya's dad? I don't know. So how did your dad?
Oh God. So the dynamic between my parents is hilarious. My mom is wild, reckless, hilarious from El Paso too. Well, she's from Juarez. Originally, and then she just moved over to El Paso.
Yeah, 915 crazy.
Yeah, and then my dad is German, so he's very but he's the nicest German ever. He just is like, save your money, be good in school, please be safe. Oh,
can he drink?
Yes, he can.
Yes, he can drink. Okay.
Look, my craziest nights have been at my parents' house where I'm like crawling back to my room.
At your parents'?
At my parents' house.
That's gangster.
Yeah. Like, where me and my mom are like hugging each other, like crying, like, I love you so much.
I can't wait to drink with Elijah now.
It's fun. I think my parents can outdrink me easily.
No way.
100%.
I've seen you drink a little bit.
No. They are like, for Father's Day of this year, Father's Day, I went over, tell me why we're like having mimosas, we're having a great time. Somehow I just pass out, wake up 3 hours later, and I'm like, Mom, what happened? She's like, I don't know, you just laid there. They were fine. I was like, what happened? She's like, we were just drinking and then you just laid down. I was like, oh, no. They're wild. They're just funny. My dad he accepts everything. My mom is like, go live your life. The biggest thing is like, they always said, I will never clip your wings. And that's something that I
like that.
Yeah. My parents, they're one thing, just like this year and recently a whole bunch of like ending generational trait patterns that actually started from what I can remember with my parents. They were always like, please don't live life like me. Please don't live life like me.
Ooh, that's crazy.
Like
is that from like a regret standpoint?
Not even a regret. I think they did everything that they wanted. That would be a good question to ask my parents.
Yeah, you gotta let me know.
Yeah.
Get them drunk and ask them.
Right? Oh, I don't even have to get them drunk. They would just be like, yeah, y'all, I don't know what happened. No, just kidding.
Because it's always interesting because as a dad now, I'm like, I want Elijah to have the best life he can have, but I constantly am trying to not compare my life to what his life could be. Mm-hmm. So when your parents say that, I'm like, oh, did something happen? That's like a cornerstone of their story. I
mean, there's like been a couple of things I can think of, but for the most part, they met really young. Yeah. Probably around my age. But I've never heard them be like, I regret this. Like, oh, do this because I never got the chance to. It's like, I didn't even do these things that y'all, like it's only me and my sister, my older sister. So, and recently, actually, one of these past months, I want to say it was Father's Day. Dang, a lot of things happen on Father's Day that my mom got kind of emotional. She's like, it makes me really proud to see things that you and Andrea have done that I would have never even thought to do. And it's not because what? Especially with, particularly with traveling. We're both like have college degrees. My sister has a master's, like 2 masters. She's brilliant. She's awesome.
Wow.
She's look, me and her are like night and day, but I dig it because there's no competition. There's no like, we're just very different to the point that people are like, were y'all raised in the same household? And we're like,
close?
Yeah, we're super close.
Really?
Super close. She's brilliant, like very one with the world. She is going to save the world. And here I am like throwing ass on the table at a wedding. And people are like, what?
That's saving days.
I guess. Like, I was like, I can't even say I'm the personality because she has a strong ass personality.
Yeah.
But we're just very different. And so my mom with traveling and that we do things scared is she's always really proud of us for that.
I think that's one of the reasons why you're interesting to me.
No.
I'm not sure that's like a nice way to say it, but like, because one, I don't know many people that can move the way you move. As a dancer, I get to say this, right? And not like be a creep, but to move the way you move, but then also be as smart as you are. Like normally it's one or the other. And some people are just learning how to body roll. Marina.
Wow. Look, I was trying to stick up for you, girl, if you heard that. Nah, you got that.
But you have a good head on your shoulders, like, because you work, you have a job, but you also are dancing all the time. Do you sleep?
No.
Real talk.
That's why whenever we were talking about chicken pox downstairs, that I've had shingle twice.
Yeah.
Because I don't sleep. And that's what the biggest blessing out of quarantine has been, that I'm like, this is what it feels like.
Now you can slow down a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit, you know, because I work from home every other day. So those days I can actually just like sleep until 8 and then just walk to my kitchen. And I'm like, wow. I feel so like rested.
Yeah.
Like so great to take on the day. Let's go.
But you dance all the time. And I see your face when you dance. Are you trying to make it?
Trying to make
Booked
what?
and blessed.
Booked and blessed.
I'm trying to leave the 9 to 5. Would you leave the 9 to 5 if you had the chance? If someone said, if one of the artists you ever danced for says, hey, let's go on the road.
Yes.
Let's go on a world tour.
I would say yes, just because I'm of this age.
Ooh.
And this is
But
when
you're young.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I'm young, and this is one of the things that we will talk about later for like the questions you asked me. That because I'm young, I don't have a family to support. I just have me. That I would do it. But whenever I took 6 months off, I did quit my job and traveled by myself and like went through my quarter life crisis, I call it. When I did that, one of the biggest things that I came home was I love stability.
Okay.
Which is something.
But that's way different than a dancer's life on tour and stuff, right?
But that's why I went and found a job when I came back.
So that you could do the dance thing and sleep better when you do sleep?
Well, not even sleep better, just so that I can pay my bills until something happened.
Yeah.
Or like, I want to eventually live the full-time dancer life.
Okay.
But I just really love a stable thing. If dance could become stable, like classes could become stable or a team or something, I would be down for that. But because it's just like video shoots and everything is kind of all over the place, that's the thing that makes me want to keep my job. Because stability is not overrated. It's not like people are like, oh, the hungry wolf. This is something that someone said is the hungry wolf hunts harder. And for me, it did the complete opposite. Yeah. I was so stressed. I was so under so much anxiety.
Yeah.
I couldn't even create. I'd be like, all right, well, let me come up with this choreography.
You feel the pressure?
I feel so much pressure.
Really? Because you put out a lot of content. I guess that's because you don't feel like you have to.
Right. It's because I really want to. Because I just felt the song did something to me and I'm so excited and I love it. It's like I live off of those things in the dance world. So I'm like, when I'm stressed and when my bank account is like at $10, I'm like, yikes. The last thing I'm thinking is like, what makes me feel good? I'm like, what is gonna pay my rent? Like, that's just me. That's just been my experience. But also because I grew up that way, that my dad is the hardest working person I've ever met. That he came to this country from Germany with 2 kids and a wife, and my mom stayed at home.
You were born in Germany?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Me too.
Really? Mm-hmm. What city?
Schweinfurt.
You better. Munich.
I don't know anything. But
oh. I mean, I rep it, but people don't see it. I go visit my family who's still out there, and they're like,
"Why?
What happened? What do you mean why?
Why do they look at you like that?"
Well, because they're like, "Wow, you're really American," and like,
okay.
Well, I see you twerking off. Like Germans don't do that. I'm like, wow.
Yes, they do.
They do.
Yes, they do.
But they're just we're a very different energy. When I go visit my family, they're like, whoa.
You turn into a different person?
No, I'm the same person, and that's why they're like.
What do they expect when they come in? They follow you on Instagram and stuff, right?
True, they do. But since my sister is 7 years older than me, and she actually had like a more of a childhood in Germany, she speaks German. She went back to Germany.
Yeah.
And again, we're just very different people.
Yeah.
So when she goes, she can actually like speak to them in the language and like connect with them in a certain way. She lived there. Yeah. She has memories there. And here I'm like, what's up? Yeah, let's go out. And they're like.
What's the party scene in Germany like, though?
Look, it's wild. I had a great time.
Really?
I have a great time.
But you said they don't throw it back like that.
I'm the one throwing it back, but they give me the facility to throw it back at. You know what I'm saying?
Do they even know what to do with it?
They just kind of like...
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Some
Germans gonna look this...
So when you dance with a dude, especially in Germany, is your goal to break them off?
First of all, I don't dance on dudes or for dudes.
Let's go. Tell them.
I don't dance on dude. When they're like, oh, come over here. I'm like,
Tell them.
Me? This is my time. I twerk for me. I do it for me. I don't want to do it for nobody. It's because I'm feeling myself. I feel great. Yeah. Look at my shorts, look at my skirt, whatever I'm in. Yeah. And it's not for you. I don't dance. I love that. I haven't done that since like teen night at Hush.
Teen night at Hush.
Oh, you weren't around. Here. That's right. Teen night at Hush, y'all. There, I was like, oh, I need to impress the boys. But then I was like, nah, I don't. This came later in life. That's it.
You are a savage.
No.
When it comes to the boys.
No. I'm a marshmallow.
Stop playing.
I have feelings.
What did you tell me downstairs? That you were coming for everybody?
No, I was trying to ruin lives.
That's even worse than what I said.
So it's not just me. There's a group of us, and yo girl downstairs is part of it.
I'm not mad.
Look,
like I benefit from it.
Exactly. I'm really glad that you feel that way. 100%. This is how I feel like relationships should be. Like I'm with the baddest, and it's like that's right. Make them all cry.
Good
I want like a man like that.
That's 100% how I feel.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that.
Because I'm a catch.
Exactly, and she's a catch. Exactly. So y'all both gotta ruin lives together.
Oh, I can't ruin lives. I'm a daddy now.
No, but you can still ruin lives. Like you could have like your baby here and be walking in the store and someone's like, "Wow, like you look great," and then you're like, "Yeah, bye." Yeah, like you see this? I really gotta go. I'm busy. Bye.
Oh, okay.
Ruin lives.
Yeah, but you have such a confidence when you do it, though. Has it always been that way? Like you, Tay, Marina has it too. I'll give her a shout on this one. Like when you guys are on stage, you have whatever the it thing that people talk about. This factor. Like when we did that runway section on the pop set.
Yes, I had my weave in.
You own that 100%. That's one of the few moments that people always are gonna recognize. But you always do that when you're on stage.
That's good to hear because that's so not my life. At all.
Really?
Ever. Never.
I feel like you're so comfortable on stage, on camera, all that.
No.
Did you practice?
I'm scared all the time.
No way. This is fair. I'm glad you're sharing this.
Yeah. It rocks me sometimes because I'm being 100% honest right now. Whoa.
Ooh, let's drink some more.
But I know because I'm always saying that I'm a fraud. I'm like
imposter syndrome?
Yeah. Because people are like, wow, say things like that to me. And I'm like, wow, you don't even understand how much I cried about it, how much I like stress about it, kept me up at night.
I feel it.
Like I journal about it, all the things. And I'm really, and this is what I've learned to give myself credit for some things, and this is like barely this year.
Okay.
That I do a lot of things in fear. I move in fear, if that makes sense. Like I don't let fear stop me, even though I'm.
Is it a motivator?
It's not even a motivator. It's like when I'm home and I'm like, oh, I just really want to try. I want to do it. It's that, but fear is like, girl, like you're gonna look a hot mess, all this stuff. But then I'm like, but I'm going to do it anyways. It's like a little voice in there that's like, just go anyways. And then I go and I'm like.
But then you kill.
But But it's a struggle together because if you see any of my dance videos, the after effect, I'll be like, yeah. And as soon as I'm done, I'm like,
that's true. I have seen you in rehearsal.
Yeah, and then I like run off stage like, but at least I'm proud of myself to be really scared and still do it.
We're all proud of you.
I try.
Stop. But the more you do it and the more videos you put out, do you feel less fear? Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's here and there. And I have a great partner. My partner has been huge during quarantine. I was like, I feel like we all went through like emotional roller coasters. Apparently it's called Corona Coaster. My sister sent that to me the other day and I was like,
well, she has 2 masters, so I believe her.
She's like, this made me think of you. I was like, thanks, Sandra. That part that he was like, you have to believe in yourself. Like mindset is such a powerful thing. Like your mind becomes your reality.
Yeah.
And that's been kind of the path I've been on for the last couple of years. And I feel like now the things I've been writing in my journal I want to do, I'm starting to believe it. And wow, how that's like changed.
The thing that's cool though is you're staying ready. You're rehearsing. You don't even know what for, but you're ready. I think that's one of the coolest things. And then even if you're not booking, because no one's booking right now, unless it's a direct book for whatever job, you're making it your own. You're the masterpiece of salsa.
Yikes. Okay, I'm here for it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was watching Hip Hop Evolution and
that's everything right. That's you. You're No Limits.
Let's go.
That's you.
Well, try. Yeah, I hope that is. That this is where like you see I like immediately I'm like
do you have a hard time
this?
Taking compliments?
Yes.
Me too. But that's why, and Chris Ride gives me a lot because it makes me uncomfortable. He says, I'll do it until you get good at it. Yikes. So you deserve it too. Yeah. But only because if you're not giving yourself credit, somebody has to. And if game recognized game, I know what it's like to not sleep and to have a 9 to 5 and be good at it. Assuming you're good at it because you've had it for a while.
Yeah.
And then just still chase the creative side all the time.
And like all night long.
All night long.
Yeah.
Like before Elijah, Tay and I were still doing stuff, You
have the daytime job and the nighttime job.
Facts. And then whatever else in between, right? And then her. Yeah. Right? But your boyfriend dances. That helps.
Yes.
What do you say? Was I not supposed to say you have a boyfriend?
Yes, he does.
Is it easier to date a dancer?
Look, I always would say I never want a dancer.
Really?
Yeah.
I cannot date a non-dancer.
Why?
Because they don't get the hustle. They don't get the passion the way that we do. Like when I come home, or even these conversations, we talk about dance half the time already as it is. And if they don't feel as passionate about dance or music or whatever it is, about something, that I don't know, it's hard for me.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I've been lucky that my other relationships, even though they weren't in dance, did respect the hustle. They didn't understand why I had to be out late.
That's really good.
They were secure enough in themselves that they weren't like, why were you dancing with some guy?
And that's tough too, like as a female dancer dating guys, right?
Yeah. Or at least I've heard from my other friends. Luckily, that hasn't been my reality because they understand like, oh, salsa, you have to like touch each other. And they also know me that I would never let someone cross a personal boundary of mine. So they were like, okay, if it doesn't offend you, then it shouldn't offend me.
Yes.
So I've been really lucky with that. And so I was like, oh, I don't want a dancer because the dance world can get really messy. And because you're constantly in each other's faces. And this is kind of what I learned with Homeboy right now, that it was an adjustment of now that he is a dancer and I saw him at practice and I see him all the time places and he's dancing with other people. I was like, yikes, now I got to check myself.
You were getting jealous?
Not that I was getting jealous, but I wasn't used to the attention that someone else was, like someone, my partner receiving that attention, that kind of attention. It was always, I was getting the attention and my boyfriends would see that and be like, oh, but this is her world. Like, and then it was so separate when we went home. But this one is like,
He's getting looks.
Because he's good. He's talented.
Don't be mad about it. You wouldn't date a scrub. Like, what are you? It comes with the territory.
Yeah, it's like, how honest do I want to get right now? Because he knows it too. That's where I'm like,
but you dance like you know it.
Right, but he knows it like I know it when I'm on stage, but then I get off stage and I like to be like, okay, chill.
Okay.
And this is why I kind of make fun of
autographs?
Him. Look, he doesn't sign autographs, but I do say certain things to him, and he's like, "Wow." I'm like, "Cause I gotta humble you. Like you get too much attention, I gotta humble you." He's like, "Wow, don't." I was like, "I will."
But I don't think you said you were lucky in your experiences because you haven't had a lot of guys be insecure about that.
Right.
I don't think it's luck. I heard something years ago that really I took with me, and it was we accept the love that we expect of ourselves.
Amen.
All right.
Or what we think we deserve.
What we think we deserve. And I don't think that's luck. I think you just have a standard of a guy and how secure he should be in his own manhood and then in his relationship.
That, and it's been a conversation too. That I've told, and I've only had, I guess if you count high school relationships, like.
No.
You don't. Okay, so if we don't count him, I've only had 2 adult relationships.
Including this one.
So he's
number 2.
He's number 2.
Oh.
So, right. So the first one, it was a conversation that I was like, dance is so important to me. If I'm upset and I can't make it to practice, my performance is starting to be shaky because of things happening between us. Let me tell you, I'm going to choose dance over you.
Ooh, so you had the same conversation that Tay and I had about dance.
Yeah.
Because we're both dancers, right? And for the longest time, it's like, you're number 2. Like,
well, okay, not like you're number 1 in a different play.
No, 100%. I told her this, and she felt the same way. If it's between going on a date and going to rehearsal, I'm going to rehearsal. So if you want me time, we have to figure this out later. Especially if we have a show coming up or something, because we're both competitive too. So, yeah. But we had that conversation, and she's a dancer. Yeah. And we still struggle with it a little bit. So someone who's not even in the game, that could be tough.
It was tough.
How did you meet them?
He was my boss at a summer job I had.
Okay.
One of them. That was the first one. Huh? What? Stop. Oh my gosh. It's not, because it was consensual 100%. Okay. From the beginning.
Yeah.
But that was that one. And then the current one, we have been friends for years.
That's cool. It helps out.
And yes, we weren't the closest friends, but we were definitely in each other's circle. And then one day he just looked different, and I said, "What's up?"
No, you didn't. He just looked different because he knew he was what he was.
I always give the credit that he started growing out his hair. I'm like, if you cut out that hair, I might be gone. No. But dang, I was gonna say something about, but so the thing, I agree with what you guys are saying, that it's like either if we're going on a date night or rehearsal, I'm going to rehearsal. I don't 100% agree with that, because I'm going to always try to fit, and this is one of the reasons why I don't sleep, is because I try to fit everything in. So it'll be I'll catch you before practice or after practice, but I'm going to fit you in too.
The same day though?
Yeah.
Oh, see, you got to learn how to separate the days at least. You got 7 days in the week. You can figure something out.
But Beyonce also has that. And let's look at what she did.
Yeah. But she also has Jay.
She had to find Jay. They had to build a relationship. That's what I'm saying though. Like, she's
not dating some dude. She's dating a guy who works just as hard as her.
That's fair.
And they'll figure it out. You think that's why celebrities always date celebrities?
I would say so. Just because you need and I agree with what you're saying, that you just find someone with the same hustle you have.
Yes. It's hard to be in a relationship where the hustle doesn't match.
Right.
Because then you feel like if you're the one doing all the work, that you're pulling somebody along. Or it's hard to not resent that person for sitting down when you're busting your ass doing something. You're like, what do you want to do with your time? Like I can't be, we talked this earlier, right? Like I can't be the best thing in your life.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be. I mean, I can be.
I am.
Yeah, I am. I will be. But you shouldn't depend on me for that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Your happiness is not coming from the fountain of you.
Do you think that's like the biggest difference between high school? Because I feel like back then it was like, they complete me.
Right.
It's bullshit.
Bullshit.
That's codependency, right?
Exactly. That is just like an obsessive crazy, dangerous, toxic attitude to have. This whole like, my other half.
Hell no. I don't even like talking in wheeze.
I like talking in wheeze.
I don't mind it. I'm super conscious of it.
There, right? That part.
Like if you were to say, hey, like let's go hang out. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll do that. Hold up. You
said, well,
yes, but
you want to be with a person. Like for even today, that was like, hey, like, so and so come along.
Yeah.
And it was like, if the answer is a certain answer, then I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm definitely okay by myself too. It was just a question like of respect.
Oh, no, I appreciate you doing that.
You know, like,
so can you go eat at restaurants by yourself?
100%. By yourself? I love doing that. I mean, I travel.
Do you really?
I traveled to Europe by myself, and
Most people can't do that.
I love it. Can you do it and
not be on your phone?
Yeah. I actually like it. I'll just sit there, put my phone in my purse, and just like watch. I love to people watch too.
Ooh, yeah.
So just kind of like imagining me blending into whatever I'm either sitting on or like standing, you know, just like kind of blending into the air and looking at other people. I really love to do.
Yeah. I think that's such a good skill to have. Or were you always like that?
It was something, I want to say no.
Like what made you want to go on a 6 month hiatus?
Oh my God, a quarter life crisis. This is what I called it because when I was younger, I was very much like, I'm going to do this career. I'm going to get married by 25. I'm going to have this kid.
Timeline.
I had the timeline. I was that type of person.
Most of us, whether we knew it or not, have a timeline in our heads.
Yeah. And it was kind of like exciting for me at that point. It's not even because my parents were like, you have to be married at 25. No. Yeah. I just came up with that rule by myself. And then on my 25th birthday, I was like, there's no way in hell I would ever be ready for this.
Yeah.
So then it was, at that time, it was also like a lot of personal things were like falling apart. I lost my grandfather, like things in the family were my job was like hitting the fan. I just like couldn't find my footing on anything. Dance really wasn't taking, it was just like so many frustrations that I was like, all right, what do you actually want to do with your life? Or just with right now, not even like long-term life. What do you really want to do now that you're 25 and you're not married, don't have the kids that you thought you would have? What do you want to do? And I was like, I always wanted to go to Europe by myself and like train and have fun. And
so you did it for 6 months.
I did it for 6 months.
How long did it take for you between thinking that and actually getting on the plane?
Thought that the fall of 2016, the fall of 2016, I left. I had such a great trip. I had spent 2 weeks in Europe with a friend and I was just traveling, and I've been to Europe plenty of times before that, but it was just like jumping from place to place, and I had such a great time that I was like, I have to be back. And by April of 2018, it happened.
So within like 6 to 8 months?
No, a year.
Oh, okay,
a year and a couple months, because I had to save also enough money. And this is when like the hustler in me came out, because I saved thousands on thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm actually really proud of how much I saved so that I could go, and I knew I was going to spend this amount of money, and I still came home with this amount of money. If that makes sense.
How'd you make the money? You were booking over there?
Not even because I was booking. I did all of that pre-leaving, so that in case I didn't get booked, I had something there. So for that year, I budgeted like crazy. I had a daily budget.
Yeah.
I wrote down everything I spent in the day, calculated it by week, then by month, and then by year. I did everything. And I was babysitting. I was doing liquor promos at Specs. I was working full time. I was teaching my classes. I was go-going. I was doing everything so I can get so I could have gotten as much money as possible. So that I went, I was like, I don't have to depend on anyone, not my parents, not anything. I have all this money to spend on me.
See, that's what I'm saying. You're smart. Mm-hmm. Like, you're diligent. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're not just throwing ass to throw ass. Like,
yeah, it's throwing ass with a purpose. For a future, for a profit.
Can I throw shade for a second? I think you're one of the few that are qualified to teach. You don't have to say anything.
Okay.
But if you want to, you can.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. That sometimes people are like, I've been dancing for 6 months and I'm teaching a class, and I'm like,
ooh, but even more specifically, when they teach us an intensive or a class on a specific style, like, all the time I'm gonna teach a twerk class. or all of a sudden I'm a heels teacher, or even on the flip side, all of a sudden I'm like a hip hop teacher.
Right.
Like
anything.
Anything's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But you actually put some time in.
A lot
like
of
you're
time.
really, really good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like you're so good. I don't know if I can say this. You're so good. When your ad shows up on my screen, Taylor goes, "Oh, Tanya."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no like, who the fuck? It's like, oh, that's real skill.
I like to say that it's just classy twerking. You know what I'm saying? There's a classy way. Yeah. Well, people.
But that's how good you are, is what I'm saying.
I appreciate that, but also people don't know this. But because like that, those isolations help because I was a belly dancer for 10 years.
I think I did know that.
Oh, you did know that?
I think you, for one choreo project, you bust a little something out one time.
Did I?
Or like in a before or after a piece or freestyle or something, you do like a little. Ow.
Chicka. Yeah, that part. So it was like came with a structure. So, and yeah, this is when it's like the science of dance. It's not just like a feeling, and there's like a science to movement in your body. And I really like studying that. And that's what I seek in teachers as well. Then I'm like, I don't want you to just be like, it's a feeling and like feel yourself. I'm like, but break down the science. Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Where's my weight? How should this feel? Shipped in to out? Like, what should that part? And that just takes so much time to develop.
To even understand, let alone teach it.
Exactly.
And I haven't taken one of your twerk classes, but maybe I will.
You could.
And don't do that. And
I've had guys take my twerk class before.
When are you teaching again?
Huh?
When are you teaching again?
I don't know, y'all.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm not committed.
I mean, I could just like come here.
You could come here.
Yeah, well, I'm here.
Well, because Tay throws it. Tay, I mean,
y'all have a baby for a reason.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna get her in trouble.
It's fine. She knows. I tell her this too. I'm like, yes, girl.
Yeah. Tay knows. You know, Tay's actually the twerk queen of El Paso.
Let's go.
She has a trophy or something.
Just stop.
No, facts. Yeah. I think when I first met her, we were just friends at the time, and she had won some like twerking contest or another.
She's never mentioned that.
She's humble. You think you know your friends.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, this is going to change the end of this night.
Is it really?
Yes.
Yes. I win.
TikTok, here we come. OnlyFans, here we come.
Oh my gosh. So speaking of like talking OnlyFans and stuff, with classes and COVID and everything, how does that change your goals with dance?
It hasn't.
Okay.
Me and my partner have still been holding classes.
Okay. You guys been doing like the Zoom classes, right?
Yeah, this was the first time we actually started in a studio. And even then we were like, we're going to try 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
You're super responsible with it.
We're trying to be. Yeah. Because there's been moments where, my twerk classes, I would just get so like, could not breathe. Like to the point that I was like seeing spots. And I would take off my mask and I was like, no, I did it, you know?
Yeah. And
so that's why I took a step back from that. I was like, if this is just not what you're supposed to do, I'm not gonna do it. But the goals haven't changed. And that's exactly why we train, and we're training and we're working out and we meet on the weekends. And I actually was at his house like every other day coming up with choreographies to teach our students, all this stuff to give them like the realest experience that we could, or the most quality experience, regardless of the situation. Even though we don't know when we're going to have actual classes or an actual performance or an actual workshop somewhere else.
But you stay ready.
We just stay ready.
That's good.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, because people are going to come out of COVID, I said this before, one of two ways. They're going to come out very round.
There was a second of that. That's when we had to get on this Marina's workout team.
Stop playing. Yeah, shout out Marina. Make it on, because she's making
my life a better place.
Ruining lives.
Making my life better by ruining other people's lives.
You're so spiteful. It's evil.
It's just, you're right.
I'm not mad at it, because I'm on the good side of it. But
exactly.
I would hate to be like some other dude, be like, fuck, I fucked up.
I mean, if that's the lesson you need to learn in life,
then that was you are a good teacher.
Yeah, you're a path. It was just your path. You had to learn that lesson.
Okay, so I have a question. So Elijah's gonna grow up.
Oh God.
He's gonna be a young man in this game. Taylor's his mom. I'm his daddy. Take that for what it is. Mm-hmm. How do I teach him to interact with young women? I didn't prep you at all for that one.
Nope. In short, be as respectful and honest as possible.
Okay. Expound on me. Respectful, yes, 100%. What does honesty look like for you, for him, chasing girls for the first time, or not want to say chasing girls, like interacting with women growing up? Because I think he might be a dancer, and that's its own little thing already, It's its own little bubble.
Of course he has to be a dancer.
I mean,
what else would you be?
If he wants to be, I'm not mad. But that's its own little microcosm of just how we interact versus how I interact with other people at work, like in my suit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But from a dating sense, what does he need to know? Because you're unique. I think so.
Really?
He's screaming right now. Uh-huh. Yeah.
He heard his name.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, I gotta say something.
Yeah, I want to know.
It's good, like flashbacks on all like my male relationships. I say, because I'm just like a big person on honesty. It's like just going in with the right intentions. And even if your intentions aren't like, oh, I want to marry you, because that could be intense when you're like 15, 14.
Facts.
Just being like, I like you and I want to spend this time with you, or I want to get to know you, but I'm going to get to know someone else too. Just like being as honest as possible. Yeah. Just being really upfront. Listen to the girl. Listen to her. Yeah. Actually hear the words coming out of her mouth that she's like, oh, that's not what I'm looking for. Like, bet, that makes me mad. That makes me sad. That makes me happy.
And accept it.
Not that it's ever something that is on him. Yeah. The whole thing about like, you can't make someone else happy.
Yeah.
He can't make someone fall in love with him or vice versa.
That's facts. Because I remember as a kid, as a young guy, my first girlfriend in high school was a girl that I wooed and courted for like months. And looking back, like, what a waste.
Why was that a waste? You learned something.
I did learn something. I'm not gonna say it on camera. But the point is, though, is like, I was like 15, 16. I could have been out playing ball or like learning to dance years in advance or hanging out with my boys or whatever it was. And then if we didn't end up together anyway.
But that's what you wanted. That's what you authentically felt that you wanted at that time.
I mean, you're not wrong. But at the same time, I think I was also, it was an ego thing. Like, oh, she doesn't know how good I could be for her.
Why?
She learned. But it's one of those things like, why did I feel like I had to do that? That's more of a personal thing of, did I not see that I was good without her? Like, I don't need her validation to be with me.
But
like,
at 15 and 16, you're not thinking about validation.
I know, but I need him to figure that out earlier than later.
Right, but that's also my opinion. And this is me being nowhere close to a parent. That it's just like, also like, how were you brought up? What do you see in movies? Like, I always thought like the ideal love literally was a Disney movie, and it came to my first. It messes you up. It messes you up to the point that my mom, and we've talked about how much of a savage she is. My first heartbreak, I'm saying I'm crying in my room all night long, miserable. It's daylight, it's a beautiful day, and I'm like, like my heart is about to explode. And she literally comes to me and is like, are you going to practice today? And I'm like, no, Mom, I'm not going to practice today. And she goes, love is not like a Disney movie, so get over it. And closes the door. And I was like,
tell me you wiped in tears and got out of the house.
No, I cried for like a couple more weeks. But it took so much time to be like, what you mean? I thought there had to be struggle love. I thought it had to be like we break up.
That's such BS, right?
It's such BS.
So the flip side of that is, one, we love Disney, but then two, my mom was a Lifetime movie channel girl. So
those take you somewhere deep, dark. Dark.
Like I can't fall in love with a girl that's not blind. Like you know what I mean? Like, someone didn't come back from the war already?
Right.
Like something intense. No. But you made a good point. Like, you don't have to struggle in a relationship. It doesn't have to be that hard.
No.
And what's crazy is when I finally found a relationship that was easier, my mind went to something is wrong here. Like self-sabotage. You know what I'm saying? You got something on this?
Yes.
Okay, tell me.
that has actually been a very recent conversation in my life. Because someone had to learn that a little bit later in life. And exactly, it was exactly that there was like, there's nothing
no
wrong.
Drama.
There's no drama,
yelling.
no chismes, nothing. And it was like, oh, but if I come to you, it's just going to be like, hey, I really just didn't appreciate this way. But it would literally be in this tone with these words. It's like, I didn't appreciate that. That actually made me feel some type of way.
Like that's the healthiest way you could put it,
the
right?
Healthiest way. And this person was like, no, I don't know. This is weird. And dipped. And that's when regret came. and then
so you start working out.
Yeah. But 100%. It's just like, and that took even in my personal life, like, cause my previous relationship was drama on drama on drama. But I was like, if we get through this, we can get through anything.
That's what a lot of people think.
It's the biggest lie. If you I literally, now my ideal relationship is like, we're together and then we just keep it going.
Yeah.
And we have fun and we have a lot of good conversations and we travel a lot and it's really easy and it's not stressful. I actually prefer like something that someone would call boring, that I know what you're gonna do. I know your routine. Words like routine do not scare me at this point. I'm like, I love routine.
Yeah.
I think I actually
because you know what to expect.
Yeah.
At a certain point, right? Like if I go into the house and like it looks crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm saying like if Tay was in here, I'm like, what am I walking into right now?
Right.
But some people like that. They think it's exciting and it's all these other things. And
like
maybe because we're older now, I don't know. But I just don't want to fight anymore.
That part.
I don't mind fighting. I don't mind having a disagreement.
Like a debate, but even those come down to just having a conversation.
Sure.
It's not even like an argument. It's not a debate. It's just a conversation of two different points of view.
I think that's one of the biggest differences between dating, for me, dating girls and dating a woman, right? Like the way I talked to Taylor and when I was dating in my 20s is not how I would talk to girls in high school.
Right. But it's also because you weren't like, it's like boys versus man too.
Yes,
you know?
100%.
And this is what we were actually talking about before this, that like as you get older, because hopefully the people you're dating become stable as you become more stable.
You hope so, yeah.
Yeah, you know, that it becomes less obvious to like end a relationship actually, because you're like, oh, he's not doing this crazy thing that in high school it was so obvious that people were like, you need to break up with him.
Yeah.
Now it's like but how do you make me feel? Are we really compatible? Do our careers, could we make this work? You want to live here. I want to live here. It becomes a little, I almost feel like more complicated because it's not so clear why y'all should break up.
Yeah. But I think it's also, I think that's the case if you've been together for a little bit. Because in the initial stages, and it's been a while since I've dated anybody. Mm-hmm. Love you, baby.
I'm glad. Yeah.
Love you, baby. But even then, though, it would just be like, within the first couple of weeks, if there was a flag, I'd be like, I'm okay. I can move. We can cut loose and we'll be okay. And having those conversations early on versus just ghosting a girl. Yes. I've done that. I'm so sorry.
It's so bad. I know. I've done that.
Have you really?
Look.
Okay, Miss Honesty.
It was just one of the... No, it's never been completely ghosting. Even though it'd be like, okay...
You 3-dotted somebody?
No.
Okay.
I would read it and close it.
You left them on red?
I don't have the receipt on.
You don't? I leave mine on because I want them to know.
Wow.
Well,
no.
I'm also straight up though. Like if someone texts me something important, I want them to know I saw it and I'll get back to them when I can.
Oh, you see, I can't. If it's something important, I need to leave it on unread because then I forget.
Okay.
But wait, no. It's never been 100% ghosted. It'd be like, I don't know how I feel. I'm not going to reply to you until I know how I feel.
Oh,
and sometimes
that's smart though, because you know that about you,
right?
Because some people are quick with the mouth, right?
Yeah, and I'm not. This is a trait I've recently developed is pausing.
That's a good thing. It's a maturity thing.
Yeah, there's been so many times, and this was not a thing as in my younger years, that now I can pause. And if someone's like, how do you feel about it? I'm like, I actually need you to give me a second because I don't know how I feel about this.
I think that's a very womanly thing to do in a good way. Okay. Because when Tay and I fight, sometimes I'm like, yo, like, you're not saying anything. Like, what's going on? Like, we can't do this dialogue if you're not talking back. Right. She goes, I need to think. Yeah. But also, Taylor doesn't have an internal dialogue. Do you know this? So when you think, can you hear your voice in your head?
Mm-hmm.
Taylor doesn't.
Interesting.
It's like a small percentage of the population. She doesn't. So if you say the word car, nothing happens in her head.
Really?
Nothing.
Wait, so how does that work though?
So she can't self-talk.
She can't self-talk?
So a good example is, before I would go into an interview or something, right? Hey, do you mind as this? I'm going to say this. This is how it works. And like this, what I'm saying now is what would happen in here.
Mm-hmm.
Same for you?
Yeah.
Okay. She has none of that.
That almost sounds...
She might see it in a movie form, maybe.
In a movie form that she sees images?
Images, or maybe like it's like a reel, or like she sees it playing out in her head, but she, like, just the voice is not a thing. Like if I say car, she won't see or hear car. She might visualize somebody's car.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds... Wait, I definitely need to talk to her about this. Because the internal voice in my head does not shut the fuck up.
Same.
I'm like, you need to relax.
Yeah. But that's why when we go back and forth, and she's like, I don't know how to process this right now. I'm like, what are you thinking? She goes, I'm not thinking anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
But that's why she dances so well, though.
Because she can just go.
Because she hears and sees the music differently. Like she internalizes it. I think. I don't know. Isn't that crazy?
So curious. Yeah, I can't even imagine what that could, because there's always a voice in my head. Sometimes I can't even
like sleeping, like in bed.
Oh my gosh. Even in dancing, it'll be like I can't even remember the lyrics of the song because the head and the voice in my head is like, yeah. Exactly. She's just like, no, you got to do it like this. You got to do it like this. Like, and to the point that I'm like, wait, what is this song?
Yeah. No,
I'm jealous.
She's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Has she always been like that, or is this a trait you can develop?
She just found out like a few months ago. Like someone posted it on Facebook, and I was like, I shared it. I was like, this is crazy, babe. Like, can you believe people like this? And she goes, I don't know what you're talking about right now. And I was like, I have one in my house?
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had never noticed it when she's like, I don't know how, or I don't know how to process this. And you're like, well, how you know?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. And I'm an asshole because I was like, why don't you say anything? Why would you keep me in the dark? And she's like, I didn't even think about it. Like, or I don't know. Like, she can't role play the conversation in her mind before she says something. So sometimes I'm like, why would you say that? You know what I mean? Like that's silly. And she goes, well, because that's what I thought it was. And then she goes, I was like, okay, well, from now on, you might have to verbalize your conversation out loud, and I'll just pretend I'm not listening until you're ready to say something.
Wow.
It's a different dynamic.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Because I feel you on that, because homeboy right now is kind of like that, but now I have to ask more questions.
You're like, do you hear your voice?
Yeah, because sometimes I'm like, how you feel about that? And he's like, I feel no type of way. And I'm like, how the fuck?
Well, that could be a guy thing. That could be a guy thing.
Well.
Because we're doing the move and everything, and Tay's like, are you excited? And I'm going to go, yeah.
That's so annoying. When people are like, I don't feel any type, like, it's a different thing between pausing and I'm a process versus like, I don't feel anything. That actually like irks me a little bit. Yeah.
Well, here's my reason for it, especially when it comes to like the house and moving and stuff. Or she normally asks me that stuff when it's something exciting or an accomplishment, right? And I don't get excited because for me, it's a step to the next thing. Right. Oh. So I might get like 30 seconds of, okay, cool, we got this. And then it's what's next.
Is that your like issue with not being able to accept a compliment type thing? Like you're not able to accept your accomplishment?
Maybe. I also feel like maybe like you do, where I don't feel like I've accomplished anything yet. Well,
really? As we sit in this beautiful house of yours, like.
But to me, this is like step one in like 10 steps for like a 30-year plan.
I can't even judge you.
You know what I mean?
I would do the same.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I love where we are. Very, very blessed. I love hosting people in the house. I always wanted to have a house where I could host people and stuff. But then, 2 years later, we're moving into our next house.
Yeah. So you're like the next thing.
Yeah. Like I'm already planning for like house 3, and like I keep it moving. But she's like, yeah, this is really, yeah.
Wow. Our brain is so strange.
Isn't it?
It trips me up sometimes. I'm like, what is this?
But what's crazy to me about you is you're smart. I'm gonna say smart. I think you're intelligent and creative. And you hustle them both.
You don't think create or like one is exclusive?
I think, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you could talk about this. I think you have a 100% energy level, right? And it's like a seesaw of where you put the energy. But when I look at you from the outside anyway, because I know social media has its own skew on things. To me, it looks like you're just going full throttle everywhere all the time.
But that's why I crash and burn sometimes.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Thank you for being so open about it too, though.
Oh, look, I'm the first person to be like, and this is gonna be honest, that I would have a shirt that says I love my therapist. I've been in therapy since college.
Really?
Yeah, I love my therapist.
By choice?
By choice.
I love that. I think more people need to talk to people.
Yeah. Because I've actually told my family the moment I stop talking to anyone is when y'all should be on high alert. But I'm like, the fact that I know speaking things out and getting perspective on other things help me is I am so about therapy. Yeah. I think everybody should have a therapist. When things are really hitting the fan, I'm like, all right, see you every week until I feel better.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we can like adjust our
Do you think
schedules.
it's different though to talk to somebody than, because you said you journal too, right?
Look, so I also have incredible anxiety in like, This is why
social media is not a great gauge of how someone's doing.
Yeah, it's not at all. Because, and this is kind of like part why my partner and I hustle a lot and we're teaching a lot and we're always creating and blah, 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 because neither of us can sit still because we're constantly, our brain is doing this and this and this and this.
Why?
So I don't know. Maybe it's a mix of like, because we feel the pressure to do things. We want to do things.
So you said a little bit about doing things because of fear, right? Mm-hmm. So do you think you're doing things to get away for something or to chase something?
It's a weird mix of both.
Really?
Because I want to get away from being at my home by myself during quarantine and looking at, because there was a period.
That's so weird though, because you're comfortable by yourself.
I am comfortable by myself, but at a point where it was like at the beginning of the year where everything shut down. Yeah. Everything shut down. And I went from like having a crazy week to nothing. I went to a very dark place. I had just ended a relationship. I was in a dark place that I was like, this isn't even me being alone. This is like loneliness.
Yeah.
And that part, I couldn't see my friends. I didn't see my family. Like that part.
And it's instant too, almost.
And it's instant.
That's the hardest part. There's no weaning off. It's like straight, you're detoxing from everybody.
From everyone.
Yeah.
And then whenever I did, there was a point where I started working from my home, from my parents' home. Yeah. And I was like, okay, at least I had them. But then I was still like, but I just felt restlessness in me and I couldn't figure out what it was, and with time and with therapy. Yeah. I was like, okay, I need to do this. And like dance was a huge outlet. But I journal, I meditate every day. Yeah. I yoga, I work out. Like it was just because I'm a very restless person. I have a lot of anxiety.
You got to do stuff.
Yeah. I have too many voices in my head.
Give some to Tay. She needs it.
I will gladly give some of my voices. Gladly.
That's so interesting though that I don't know why it surprised me though. Because for me, my driver for doing a lot of stuff is I don't ever want to be homeless. I have a deep fear of being homeless. Like I've struggled before and stuff. I just don't ever want that ever again, right? And to the point where I push past being comfortable, and we're like, I want to be extremely comfortable now. Yeah. So it's not like a chase thing, but I know that, and that's a big part of why I do it, and not the only reason why. Because there's a part that says you have to be creative, you have to make something, you have to do something. Mm-hmm. But for you, it's like you're a rare breed. Like I don't want to say this out of context or like put anybody off. No, because it's a good thing. I feel like you're one of the few people that actually does it because they have to do it.
What do you mean?
Like if you didn't dance or create something and you only worked a 9-to-5 job,
I'd be miserable. Miserable.
That's what I'm saying.
Miserable.
I'm the same way to a certain extent, right? Like,
yeah.
But is it always dance or could it be anything?
It's mostly dance, actually. Yeah? And I experienced this in college. I had a terrible time in college because I stopped dancing. I was like,
same.
I need to focus on my career. I need to make money. I need to stabilize myself. Yeah. So I stopped dancing, and it was the most terrible 3 years of my life.
Mentally, emotionally.
Terrible. Everything was so terrible. But I will comment that your fear about homelessness, and I'm still trying to figure out what this is, but my fear of wasting my youth.
Okay.
That's where it always comes back when I'm like, but I'm this age. At 18, it was me being like, because I'm 18. At 21, it was me being like, I'm 21. At 25, it was because I'm 25.
Yeah.
And every year I actually like on my birthday, I sit in my car and I cry my eyes out.
Why?
I don't know. It gets like.
Do you feel like you're running out of time?
I feel like I'm running out of time. Like something's supposed. It even like borderline gets me kind of emotional right now. Just thinking of those moments that I don't look at my birthday like, oh my God, I'm like great.
You don't have like a birthday week. Yes, you do.
I do, like to the point that
I understand what you're saying though.
It's not like I do it because I'm like, oh, it's an excuse to like splurge on myself. But it's not because I'm like, let's celebrate me. It's because I'm like, let me do things that make me feel good because I know come my birthday I'm gonna freak out.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So when do you think? At what age do you think you'll look back and go, we did it. We did some things.
I don't know.
You have no idea.
I have no idea because it happens later that at this age, I can say, I was so dramatic at 25. Like, I need to get it together. But I feel the exact same feelings with different factors. But I still feel like this year I'm turning 28. Like, God, damn.
And I feel like you're so evolved compared to probably the 25-year-old you or the 21-year-old you. Like,
True.
You're probably hustling just as much, if not more now. But just the way you speak, that therapist must be awesome.
She's great. And I've had a couple.
Yeah.
Because it's like
you have to get the right one.
Therapist finding is like dating. You got to try them out. But the way you speak about it is just so evolved and you're just so self-aware with it. Trying.
That's why, look, I'm going to give you compliments. Tay has to give you compliments just so somebody does so that you don't have to. Because I also worry if you start complimenting and feeling yourself too much, you'll slow down.
I don't see it.
No?
I'd feel like I couldn't. A, because I would never give myself that much credit.
Okay.
And B, because it would just feel like I can't not do anything. I can't just sit still. I can't sit still. I cannot sit still.
What are you going to do when you're 80?
Not sit still. Look, I'm trying to be that 80-year-old that's like
grabbing booties and shit.
100%. Like a vegan and like super clean, everything super strong, still going to the gym, still teaching and blah, blah, blah. Like this is what I picture at 80 years old. That it's like a mindset. Even though I feel like I don't believe that yet, eventually I will believe it. That
I feel like one day you're going to look back and be like, we did some shit.
And this is weirdly enough that my therapist says that she's like, wow, you did a lot of things in your life. And I'm like, I guess.
Did she ever have you sit down and write the stuff down?
Oh, 100%.
In like a week or a year?
100%.
And it's
like,
crazy when you take inventory like that, though.
Oh, yeah. And you're like, wow, maybe I did. It's like a moment that it's like, wow, I did a lot. But I'm just trying to like practice prolonging it. Not to be arrogant, but just to be like more confident in yourself and like more grounded to like, okay, my life is still going. Like a year getting older isn't something I should fear. Not being married isn't something I should fear. That part. So
when you look at it now, are you happy where you're at, or do you wish you can go back and do it different? I'll share with this what you're thinking, because for me, every year it gets better. I know this for a fact. It gets better. Mm-hmm. I like to think I'm wiser. I'll take inventory every once in a while. I'm like, okay, I give myself that, and then we keep pushing. But I don't know if I would want to go back and try to do it again, because all the goods and the bads, I'm really lucky with a lot of things. But with you, I know you move way more than a lot of people do. Like you're like actively,
that's what anxiety does to you.
Yeah. Facts.
It's a weird man. I feel like I'm constantly at this like pendulum of like, where am I going to swing today? It's literally a day by day process. Because I agree. Every year, this is the year I feel the strongest
I've ever been.
Better. Yeah. I feel more confident. I give less fucks. Actually, this is the first year I actually enjoy the way I dance. I've never enjoyed the way I dance.
Really?
Even if I post about it and I've never...
You can watch it now and be like, I did that.
Exactly. Even if I'm like, oh shit, I'm not like that, but I'll be like, okay.
No, your movement quality, I will say this, from when I first met you, your movement quality is like, it's what it needs to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like when I'm watching, like she knows what she's doing right now.
Trying. Yeah. And I actually am okay saying that. Before, I'd literally post a video and drop my phone and run away from it.
Yeah.
And like couldn't look at it. I had to delete like all files off my phone and like my Google photos and like all this stuff.
Why would you look at it again? Well, you were scared you were going to look at it again and just tear it apart?
And I would end up deleting it. I've done this for so many of my videos.
Oh, wow.
So many that I'd like be happy for a second and then come back to it and be such a like almost ashamed of it.
Is that because you're ashamed of it or because you think other people are gonna be?
It's a mix. It's a mix.
Yeah,
for sure. So this is why getting older, because I've given less fucks, I can be like, all right, I'm okay saying like this is my progress today.
Okay, yeah.
But it is a weird mix because this year too, quarantine did a lot of things for me.
Yeah.
It was a lot of time to reflect because I had the previous years I held a lot of resentment towards my family, my parents,
really?
With just blaming them for everything I haven't done. And
okay.
And this was actually the first year that I felt like I didn't regret something. Because I had to let go of a lot of that. Yeah. Because at 18 years old, I did actually ask my parents, like, hey, can I not go to college and go to LA because I think I can really make it? And we had that conversation. And for years, because they were like, absolutely not. Like, if we're helping you pay for school, you're going to school in the fall. And I would always be like, I held that against them. I held it. And now I can be like, that just wasn't supposed to be my story.
Okay.
You know?
Here's one of those things, though. It's just so weird and interesting because I don't know if you would have been ready at 18.
Exactly.
When I watch you dance now, I'm like, that's a real woman who knows what she's doing.
At 18, I was hot enough. Like, if this is me at 28 or almost 28, 18 me? Oh.
80 bit of you? But
bless her heart.
But I feel like if you were to ever get booked and blessed now, tour whatever it is, you can handle that. Like, I don't know about 18-year-old you, but like now you know how to navigate it. You know how to take care of yourself. Yeah. You know, you're such a different person now from what I'm imagining was back then. And I'll put money on you. Like, if anyone's going to make it, it'd be you. And Tay and I have been around a long time. We talked about this. I was like, hey, between Tanya and some of our other friends, and we're by name, who's making it? We're like, Tanya makes it. If Tanya wants it, she makes it.
No pressure.
So don't fuck this up.
Yeah. Another voice to add inside my head.
Yeah.
But no, that's awesome. And I agree. And this is the whole thing of like accepting where you are and like, this is going to answer one of your questions at the end. Agreed. And that's where regret kind of lessens because I probably wouldn't have, maybe it didn't happen at 18 because I wouldn't have been able to handle it. It's going to happen later in life because I'm going to be able to handle it then. And a girl has a good skin routine, so I could be 18.
You look hella young.
Look, when people are like, you're 21, I'm like, first of all, 27 is not old.
It's not.
Not even near 30 isn't old. 35 isn't old.
Thank you.
Yeah, for real.
Tell them.
No, really. This whole I always was like, life ends at 30. Fuck that.
Say that?
Fuck that. That's what I used to think. I mean, if I wanted to get married and have kids.
Life is good. I'm telling you right now, in your 30s, life is good.
I'm actually excited to like.
You're doing all the right things right now. You're going to have some fun in your 30s.
Later. Like, I'm excited for it.
I first met Tay when I was 23, 24, 25.
Yikes, yeah, we're so young.
Yeah, we were super young. And I've known her, like, she was like one of my best friends before we ever started dating.
That's cute.
Yeah. And so she's seen me like put work in. And now things like some of the physical things are happening in our lives. And she's like, oh, okay. Like, now we're enjoying some of it.
Now we know better.
She's like, I put my time in now.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna put in some work right now.
Yeah. Okay, so Elijah's downstairs.
Yikes.
You met him when he was 2 months old.
Yeah.
Now he's a year and change. He's going to grow up. Tears. He's going to see you on the screen. Hopefully you come around to the cookout.
You're right.
And when he looks back and goes, oh, my world famous Auntie Tanya, what advice would you give him?
Yikes. Okay, so I thought so hard about this. And
I love that you did that.
I thought so hard. I was like, what are the things that have taught me?
Yeah.
And like, what are the things that I carry for me? So there's a couple of things.
Yeah, go ahead.
So number one, biggest inspirations. You also asked, artistically, my best friend Archie.
Okay.
My older sister Andrea, and then my dad. And so my dad he's literally the calmest person. He's not even human. I'm convinced.
What?
He's not human. He once told me once recently, but like 1,000 times throughout my life too. I lie. He goes, give time to time.
Give time to time. What does that mean?
So how he explained it was like, actually let time pass and not be scared of it. Let time,
okay.
You know, like give time to time.
I can see why he would tell you that a lot.
You know, because I'm constantly like, everywhere. That he was like, actually let time pass before you freak out.
Yeah.
You know, he's taught me like how to pause, how to think, how to be like, I'm going to take a month for this. I'm going to take a year for this.
Yeah.
And actually enjoy that process and give time to time. Time is there for a purpose.
I've never heard that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Look at you dropping gems.
I tried.
Auntie Tanya, all right.
And then another one. So this is kind of just like the quote of, your true character is how you act when no one's watching.
Yes.
Kind of basically saying that is like always move with integrity, always move with honesty, because you never know who's going to watch, or you never know who's around. You never know who it's going to impact, because looking back on my life where I'm like, wow, that really stuck with me. And I go back to the person and say, you did this one thing. They're like, really? Like they weren't trying to be insightful. You
confronted them years later.
Exactly. And say like, that sat with me so much. And they'll be like, that wasn't even me trying. This was me just living my life. So I feel like if you just constantly live in honesty for always, that you inspire a lot more people than you think you do.
I'll give you that 100%. Because I feel like no matter who you are or what circle you're around, I know what to expect with you. Which is to not expect anything, because you're crazy, right? But I know like more or less who you are, who I'm getting like every day of the week, and then in any circle that we have. I hope that he does that, because one of the things that we have to do, that I'm very conscious of, is just like minority and work speak, right? Do you do that?
What do you mean?
Like when you're at work, is it still you?
Like I'm the only one who represents me.
No, I mean, so when I'm at work, I don't talk the way I talk in the studio.
Oh, 100%. Oh my! I work in Texas, y'all. I can't talk like this.
Well, I don't know. That's one thing I wanted to ask, and I wasn't even planning on it on camera, but because I know when I work and I'm in my suit and I'm presenting things and I got my tie on,
right?
Tell them, Tay. Yeah, and it's 100% different. Mm-hmm. It's probably closer to like right now versus at the studio when I'm like dapping people up, but I'm like, yo, it's whatever.
100%.
Yeah, but do you turn it on and off for work?
100%.
Really?
But for the sake of just like office politics.
Yeah.
I can't be the person I am in my twerk needs class.
Why not? Do they know?
They have found out. They have found out.
How did they find out?
I blocked.
Are you private or?
No, I'm not private, but I blocked all my like partners at my office. And one time someone said like, oh, I saw that video. And I was like, immediately got on my phone. I was like, I need to block you too. And so I blocked all of them. But there has been like through shares of other like coworkers that actually have been in my classes. If they like share something or post something or whatever, I'm like, but speaking wise, I do change. Yeah. But I change with still the essence that you're still the same person, right? Like if someone, instead of if a conversation was to if a conversation was to come up, I would change my words differently at the studio versus office, but it's still going to be the same message. Yes. So
and it's important to say.
Yeah.
Right. Because I know you mentioned imposter syndrome, and I know for me, I was like, am I two different people right now? That I struggle with that a lot initially coming in, but
it's It's politics. As much as we want to fight against it, it's just a politics
I'm not mad
of an
at
office.
Because once I figured it out and I finally learned how to game it right, it's once you own it.
Yeah. Right? Just take like the cuss words out of it.
I try to.
I know. Instead of being like, you fucking ass, I'm like, I just disagree.
In my previous email.
Exactly. Please see below.
Yes, that's my favorite
one. But it's fine. Yeah. So it's the same thing though. As long as it's like the same message, you're coming with the same intentions, all that stuff I think is really important. Just be consistent, know who you are, explore who you are.
The consistency part is good too. Because you never know what relationship is going to pay dividends down the road. Or how you hurt somebody. That
part. It's actually, I agree more with the second part because I try not to move with like, what can I get from this person? Yeah. But just like, am I being honest with myself? Am I being honest with them? Knowing that when you grow, you do change. Like opinions change and you're evolving year by year. There was another one. Oh yeah. In your 20s and below are just to fuck up as much as possible.
Facts.
That's my third advice.
Facts. Ooh, let me ask you this then. So when you were young and reckless.
Hella young and reckless.
My question is, did you get bailed out? Or did you...
Bailed out like by the law?
I don't know. Were you arrested?
Some law enforcement did get involved in some stories.
No, what I mean is like when you got in a pinch or something, like do mom and dad or support systems come in and like help you dig yourself out?
Yeah.
They did. Is that important?
Yes, they did, but not to give me a free pass. They definitely punished me. I definitely learned my lesson and never repeated it again.
That's my question, right? Because when Elijah, we joke around like, oh, if Elijah gets picked up for jail, like what are we doing? He's going to sit his ass there overnight. I'll get him in the morning so I can go back to bed.
Right.
Right? But I'll get him.
Right. Just later.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. But we don't, like, because we talk about, like, what happens if he does this? What happens if he does this? And then he has to learn. Like, you saw downstairs, like, he's crying and stuff. I'm like, leave him. Right. Let him cry. Let him figure it out for a second. And that hurts.
I've heard. I can't say like I know. I've heard my parents say the same thing. Like this scar right here, I have a scar right here and right here on my knees, on my hands right here, because they let me live life. Did I repeat those? Never again. You know, but that's what they did. Like my parents were definitely like the first time I got drunk. Yeah. I was 16 years old. I got shit faced. Yeah. And one of the things that my parents were really strict, but again, with like the whole thing of like I'm never gonna clip your wings. With boundaries. So at 16...
That's interesting to me because I don't know where that line is yet.
So what they did to me is you can go anywhere. You can go to your parties. You can go here. But I need to know the address and I need to know who you're going with.
There's freedom and responsibility.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. So address, who you're going with, and I had to text them every 30 minutes.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, because it didn't even have to be like, Mom, I'm here. Like a whole story. She said, as long as I texted her, I'm fine. Period. Yeah. That's the only time. And I didn't have to tell my friends like, I'm going to text my mom. No, I would just pop up my phone, text her, I'm fine. And then close my phone. And she was like, bet, as long as you do that, you can stay out as late as you want. I never had like a curfew. Yeah. She said, you can stay out as late as you want. And I just need to know the address. And it actually came in handy. When I turned I didn't turn 16, but I was 16 years old, got drunk. Someone stole my phone, so I missed the 30-minute mark. She ended up reaching out to the friend who she knew I was with.
That's dope.
And then they said she's in trouble. She doesn't know who. I didn't know anyone in the house party. Okay. I'm drunk. Yeah. Someone stole my phone. The address that I had sent them was the address of the home, so they knew where to find me. Oh. The details of the rest of the night this is a story. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a story. So all of that came in handy. Like I was 16 years old. Something seriously wrong, bad could have happened to me. So because I gave them all those details, they were able to find me. Well, they found me.
Did they go?
Yeah. They went in person, busted the party. They said, whose house is this? And this is what my mom is like, super savage, and my dad is the nice one, but he was behind her like, yeah. You know? He was like, yeah, answer her questions. And my mom was like, whose house is this? She's making a mess. Everyone's just runs out of the house. Everyone is scrambling into their cars. Pass out on a couch. Like,
you were like drunk.
I'm like passed out.
Yeah.
Like belligerent.
Yeah.
So everyone runs. The people who's lived there, they were like, I don't know, your daughter, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, her phone was stolen. That was $200. Either you give me $200 or I'll call the cops right now because I don't see your parents around.
Yeah.
So she's there like negotiating with them.
She's like hustling?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's like, you either give me the money or I call the cops. Which one you want?
Drunk. You ran a scam on these kids.
And so she was like, I'll wait. They were like, we don't have $200. She's like, I'll wait for you to go to an ATM.
Yeah.
And they went to an ATM and gave her the money.
Shit. Yo, mom's a G.
She's funny.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
So then they give her the money. She carries me to the car. I'm like throwing up everywhere. It was just disgusting.
Yeah. And you're with your friend.
And I'm with my friend. My friend was like drunk, but not as drunk as me. And we get home and they make me stand in the kitchen, woozy and as like unable as possible. Yeah. I'm like trying to keep my balance. She's like, try to stay still. And I'm like, Mom, I really can't. She's like, stay still. They're yelling at me and I have to stay still in the middle of the kitchen. And I was like, it was the hardest thing ever. And then I was grounded for 6 months. But I learned, did that ever happen again? Never.
Yeah.
Never ever.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
I can't wait for him to get drunk now.
Yeah.
See, I used to do this thing with my soldiers where if I ever were to find them drunk or something and they would call me to bail them out or even from jail, I would go pick them up and I would say, all right, well, we can either run now or later. What do you want? That part. And they go, they're drunk. So, we'll run now. All right. So I'll get in my car and you run back to the barracks. No, but did they ever do that again? No, but I got them, and that's what they remembered. No, right? And so your parents got you. Exactly. Like they were gonna make sure I'm always home safe, but once I was home safe, like I wasn't just gonna. Yeah. They weren't like, oh, I'm so glad you're safe. Like at least you're home. No. I was gonna get phase 2 as long as I was safe at home. Yeah. And yeah. I'm still scared of my parents. I had to ask fun. Questions. I don't want to toot my own like parents' horn, but everyone who meets them, they're a hoot. A hoot? Yeah. That's the whitest word you've used. I know. Hoot? Golly gee. Right. Look, my parents are always down to have tequila nights with my friends. For real? They're hilarious. Some of my friends have said that my mom makes the best margaritas like in Texas. Prove it. Come over. What's up? Let's go. Or they'll come here. They're fun. Yeah. They're really fun. And they were great parents. Bring them to the new house. Okay. With the housewarming. Yeah. No, for real. Yeah. They're great. Like yin and yang, them two. Yeah. But they work as a good team and. Aw. Yeah. I love that. Who should I talk to after you? You get one. This was so hard. Is it really? It was you have so many. So many. That's good. Well, you can get as many as you want then. Well, because you said who to keep this conversation going, who would and inspired me. Who inspired you, or who do you think has lessons or gems to drop for Elijah? Gosh, so many people. Yeah. You're lucky. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I have so many mini therapists in my life that it got to the point that I told my best friend, like, I'll pay you for this phone call. And she's like, you're a good girl. I'm like, I will pay you what you want. I'll take you out to eat. No, I have so many. It's like, so the ones that came are this year. Okay. Because we've had the most interactions is my partner. He has a crazy story from like leaving Venezuela, being by himself. He hasn't seen his family and friends for years, going to Europe by himself, making it work in Europe, and then falling in love with an American here, coming to a new country, new city, all these things, crazy stories, and he always makes it work. He's the hardest working person I know, along with my friend Archie. Yeah. He's welcoming his first child in 2 weeks. Him and his wife are awesome. He is the hardest working person I know too. Has a full-time job. I don't know a full-time job at this point, but he was a DJ musician. Yeah. All his gigs got canceled obviously this year. Yeah. But then all of a sudden he's on YouTube studying how to make websites. Oh. So he learned that by himself. He created his own website for him and his musical partner. It translates in 3 different languages. It has every song they've ever made. He started designing merchandise. He did not stop. The world stopped. He said, bet, and just changed course. Yeah.
And
I respect that for sure.
Oh, he's amazing. And his wife is like the calmest person ever. And she's a Black Hawk pilot.
Yeah, like the helicopters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like she has the coolest job ever.
Yeah.
And she's super badass, but she's like this all the time. I'm like, I don't understand. She doesn't like have anxiety. She never has like weird swings of her pregnancy. I'm like, how you feel? Do you have weird cravings? Like, have you made Archie go crazy yet? Like, tell me all these things. And she's like, nah, I feel the same. I was like,
that gives you anxiety?
Yeah. Look, one of my friends who has 2 kids, she was like, someone's going to have to love you because who knows what you're going to be when you're pregnant. I was like, oh, no.
Really? I said the same thing about Tay, and she was pretty easy, actually.
That's what I say. Like, just as long as you don't piss her off.
Well, you saw her when she was pregnant. She was like
great.
crazy.
No.
She was dancing up to like 3-4 months.
Yeah.
She was on stage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Going to practices, and our practices are late.
Yeah.
Girl. Yeah, she looked great. She wasn't like, oh my God, my feet. Like, all that.
No, she's fantastic.
Yeah. And no shade for people whose feet hurt. Like, I can imagine, like, growing a child, your feet hurt. But.
I can't even imagine it.
No.
I can't imagine when it heals. Ooh, but you know what we could do? Let me stop or end it with this. Let's set up a date with you and your partner.
Okay.
And me and Tay. And we could do like maybe like a little private duo session. And then I'll interview him after.
Okay.
Yeah?
That'd be cute.
Yeah.
Oh, yay. Okay, yeah. Because he has crazy stories.
I want to hear it.
That I'm always like, what? And he's like, yeah, and then this happened, and this happened. And long story short, never give up on your dreams. You believe in yourself. I'm like, okay, let's go practice.
How do you complain after hearing stories like that? You don't, right? You're just like, all right, I'll fucking wipe my ass now. Go,
exactly. That's when I just journal about it. I'm like, I'm feeling like a bitch ass brat right now. Because I can't go to Mexico right now. Like, I had to cancel my Europe trip. I'm like, shut up. Problems. Exactly. I'm like, Tanya, I'm going to let this out in my journal, but don't speak it out.
You were so good.